Hi, good morning, Royals. I wanted to talk to y'all about perception. I had a very late phone call from a family member, and we spoke about some hardships that I won't get into about my mother, and some misconceptions and perceptions that were assumed. And wow, I had no earthly idea that she had these perceptions, and it breaks my heart that she did. And I'm just very thankful that, just a simple text to, send out my new phone number and my new email address to everyone, and I was ready to go to sleep because I got to babysit here in a couple hours. And she kind of reached out and called. So thankful. And after about a 3-4 hour conversation, I found out so much that, we all have these perceptions and we have these stories that play in our minds, and we begin to believe that they're true, and they're not. There's no facts to it, and once you get a chance to ask somebody and really listen to them without interruptions and ask questions and answer the best you can, you find out that these perceptions, even though may be very, very close, are not even true, not even real, So I just, I wanted to say something about perception, excuse me, that each and every one of us have a perception about something, like art and something we read, something we like, something we share. And, unless it's really clarified, it is still our own perception. It is our beliefs. It is our, what we're trained to believe, and then when you get other people's perceptions in on top of that perception, you start to believe this story that it's all fairy tale, there's no facts in it. So once we was able to share the facts that we knew between each other and not everyone else, between each other, it was very much clarified, and it ended on a great note, to be honest with you. It was really nice to speak to my mom's side of the family. Wow, it's mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. Another perception is that, like I told you, where I didn't get a phone call from my daughter was, I believed even tonight or last night that when I was calling to reach out for her, I'm like, hey, I'm getting ready to be over there in the neighborhood. I'd like to stop by and see the kids. And she kept picking up the phone, but I couldn't hear nothing on the other end. And I can only assume, that something was wrong with the phone, or she couldn't talk. 'Cause remember, I said she had to go to the dentist. And, at first I'm like, well, she don't want to talk to me, and that's why she answered the phone. There's that story. But then I tried again, and same thing. And I'm like, okay, well, honey, I'm starting to think that maybe the baby's got the phone. And if not, if you can hear this, I'm going to go ahead and stop by. And even though I was nervous and scared that, because I don't want to argue. I just don't. I just want respect and love, And I went over there, and it's like a whole bunch of vehicles in the drive and that. I'm like, oh, gosh. My perception was they were partying because all these vehicles were in the drive. And I forgot that my daughter got a new truck. So I called again, but she didn't answer the phone, and I'm sitting right outside. So I got up the nerve to get the facts and knocked on the door, and no one answered, and I could hear some grinder or something going in the backyard, and I'm like, well, something's going on. Okay, well, I started to leave, and I turned around, I was like, no, I need the facts. I've got to have the facts. So I opened the screen door and I knocked louder, And I waited for about 60 seconds and nobody come to it. And I thought, okay, well, maybe it's Corey and his clan or whatever. I'm like, okay, just ain't meant to be. And I went to walk off and the door opens. It's like, hey! And I turn around and I can't see nobody. And I guess they said, hey, and just walked back in the house. So I walked in the door and kind of stepped in. I was like, hello. And there was my daughter. And she's like, hey. And she was all nice and friendly and come up and gave me a hug. And, hey, the kids just went out back. And it was nothing what my perception thought it was. Okay, so I'm saying this because so many times we lose relationships, we get in arguments, we get in fights and lose friendships and lose family members over perception, or not hearing the whole truth, or hearing that story, like I always say, that story that's going over in our head. And I'm just so thankful that, I went through and I had a really great time. And matter of fact, the kids were begging. It was so cute. It was so precious. I got to tell you this. The grandbaby, my smallest one, he's like 2. And he's seen me and he just grabs me, pulls me out in the backyard and shows me his car. And he starts driving his little car, and boy, can he drive it. And I guess they took the governor off of it, so he drives fast. And I could barely get out of the way before I got hit. And then they was making a sandwich or something for him, wanting him to eat. And I was like, come on, you can go in and get something to eat. Grandma will go in there with you. So he grabs me by the hand. Now, this is so precious. And he takes me in the house. Now, remember, he's 2. And he takes me in the room, and he points out his shoes. And I'm like, okay, you want some shoes on? Okay. So I put his shoes on, and I said, you want a shirt too? Because they had been in the pool and stuff. I thought maybe he was getting cool. It's so cute. And grab a shirt, and he's putting the shirt on, and all along he's toting Grandma's keys, So he gets his fofo, and he goes up to the kitchen table, and he points at the bag, and he snatches it off the table, and he throws his fofo in it, and he starts heading to the front door. Bless his heart, he wanted Grandma to take him bye-bye. Oh, it broke my heart. It was like, I was not ready for that, and I had plans, and I didn't want to come in and interrupt, and I didn't know what to do, so I went out and I told my daughter, I was like, bless his heart. I was like, I kept saying, Grandma will take you bye-bye tomorrow, we'll go somewhere, because normally I put him in his stroller and we go for long walks, and it just tickled me pink. It really did. It made my day. And then I ended up, after they put him down for a nap, or for bedtime actually, I was trying to scoot out of there and not be there so late. And my grandson, CJ, says, come down here, Grandma. And he was doing some wrestling on video games, and I'm terrible at them, period. But, Grandma's in there. It's like, show me how you doing it. I don't know what buttons you're pushing, and they're wrestling, and I'd never seen him play this game before. And, of course, I like wrestling. I just don't like football. So I'm trying to learn this skill with him, and we had such a good time. And then I was like, well, let Grandma just try it once. I want to see, because I kept trying to correct him, like, get him, get up. I was like, well, how you doing that? And he goes, well, here, Grandma. And he hands it to me and walks out the door. Of course, I got beat 3 times on the wrestling thing. I had no idea what I'm doing. So next thing you know, in comes my daughter and my son-in-law, and they start laughing at me, and they go, what you doing playing video games, Grandma? And they know I don't. I said, no, I was abandoned. I said, where's my grandson at? Oh, he's out back shooting basketball. So I'm like, okay. So they come in there and they went to go sit down and that, and I went out to go hunt him down. He comes running in and he goes, you ready, Grandma? You ready? I'm like, for what, son? He goes, to wrestle. And I'm like, oh no, Grandma has no idea what she's doing. And he's like, well, you do this and this and this. And he tried to teach me again. And it was getting late. And I'm trying to boogie out. You spending the night, Grandma? You spend the night? No, baby, Grandma's not spending the night tonight. So as I went to leave, it was so cute. And he started to paddle a bit. And I was like, baby, we got movie tickets. We'll go see the movies. And had to calm him back down so he wouldn't be upset. And then all of a sudden my daughter says, hey, if you'd like to, you can come and babysit tomorrow. I got to go to the schoolhouse tomorrow. And I'm like, well, heck yeah. You know, Grandma's always willing to spend time with her babies. And I was very clear, though, what time you need me and, you know, till what time, you know. And it just makes a big difference when you got facts. You know what I mean? You can't assume. If you don't know, if you're not sure, don't make up this story in your head, because I promise you, 99% of the time it's going to be wrong. And even if you are right, at least you can clarify it, you know, and end up having a really great day and make peace with people, you know. And I think that's really important. Very important. And I hope that helps somebody. So I love y'all, but can have my coffee and head out. I'll talk to y'all later. Love all your rules. Thank you.